All right, welcome. This is the information session for the Master of Sustainable Peacebuilding program at UW-Milwaukee. My name is Anastassia White. I'm the program manager and also an alumni of our class of 2020. And with me is Dr. Lynne Woehrle, our program director. MSP was established in 2013, and we now have over 90 alumni working in peacebuilding related roles around the world. And today we'll share a little bit more about our program.
We're so excited to be here with you today. My name is Lynne Woehrle. As Anastassia mentioned, I've been with MSP since 2018. I've been doing peacebuilding work since my freshman year in college, many, many years ago. So I want to talk about why people come to our Master of Sustainable Peacebuilding. There are many reasons. People come sometimes when they're right out of college, sometimes when they've been in the workforce for 3, 5, 10, 20. We've even had people who have come as a second or third career planning. So when people come to the MSP, typically what they're looking for is to further develop and hone their peace building skills or facilitation skills. They want to better understand conflict. They've been serving perhaps in a particular job or capacity, and they want to have those skills. Sometimes it's because they've been doing some peace building work and they want to explore new aspects. How could this be used differently? We've also had people who have completely changed their career focus by coming to our program and spending the time thinking about what is their particular sector of peace building and sustainability that they want to work in. That often involves wanting to understand either one or more big social issues. Sometimes we call those wicked problems. Sometimes we think about them as they seemingly intractable conflicts or problems, but we know there is a solution out there. So we are here working together to figure that out, to understand systems, do systems thinking. And one other reason that we see students coming is they may already have a lot of the skill sets, but besides honing them, they want to develop their professional network. And that's something that our students are supported in doing while they're here in the program. Finally, I want to share, and we'll be talking more about this as we go through the slides, that we have many, many community partnerships locally, statewide, and globally. And we are always leveraging those to help students get practice opportunities, practicing inside class, special projects, independent work, as well as their field work and then career opportunities after they graduate. So again, we're so glad you're here today, and we're going to talk next a little bit more about those career opportunities.
Thanks, Lynn. So this slide shows many of the organizations where our MSP graduates have found peacebuilding related work after the program. Alumni are working in many different sectors. That includes nonprofit, non-governmental organizations, government. Some have started their own businesses or nonprofits. Some are doing consulting work or working in education spaces as well. So there's a variety of different disciplines that MSP students will come into the program with. Some have a more social science background, some environmental sciences. So we welcome students of all undergraduate degree backgrounds in the program. And then based on your interests and your time in the program, building that network, as Dr. Woehrle mentioned, students will end up in different sectors. Sometimes that's related to humanities or sciences, and working in many different types of career positions. So some students are doing creative work, working as program managers or coordinators, grant writers, or working in development spaces, doing evaluation, facilitation, community development, community organizing, and that's just a few of the many different positions that students are working in. MSP is very customizable, so while you're in the program, you can really hone in on your interest areas, building that network, and as you can see from the slide, students end up in many different spaces across Milwaukee, the US, and globally.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our curriculum. We have 5 main areas of our curriculum that I want to mention. We are very focused on the concept of systems thinking. It is core to the work that we do in sustainable peacebuilding because we deeply believe and practice that you can't just look at one aspect of a problem. You might be working to make change in one area, but you need to know the larger context. So we are thinking in systems, and that often involves looking at connections, thinking about the flow that power has in the system. Who are the stakeholders? What are the norms and values that are holding up the system and potentially making it difficult to change? And those places where it's difficult to change is where we want to focus our energy to shift the situation. We also connect our systems thinking. It's very integrated to understanding and analyzing conflict and thinking about how to transform that conflict. So for us, conflict is a difficulty, but not a barrier. That it's very possible to take a conflict and turn it into an opportunity. And that there is some tools that we spend a lot of time learning about how to shift a conflict into a constructive conflict. So from destructive to constructive. A third area of focus for us is putting the community in the center. And this is a practice idea, meaning that as an applied master's degree, we'll be working with you on potential opportunities to build and practice your skills. We want to make sure that when we do our work, that we are keeping the community in the center, that instead of thinking about what do we want out of the situation or how would we solve the problem, what is best for the community. This involves a lot of listening. It involves a lot of thinking and considering and analyzing what is existing and what could be. So that community really comes into the core of our work. And that means that relationships and how we build relationships is part of how we transform conflicts and understand systems and how they change. Fourth is context awareness, and that's the more personal side of that community centering, which is that in context awareness, we realize that we have an impact on the systems that we're working on. We come from a context. We are who we are. We have our identity, our past, our own values, our own vision, and we need to be aware of that and find out how that might be a positive impact in the systems where we want to make change. And then we're going to talk a little bit more deeply in a couple of slides about practice, but practice runs through everything we do. We are an applied master's degree. We've had many students take those applied experiences and leverage them also towards further education, such as licensure degrees or PhDs. But know that we are about hands-on learning, doing, talking about it in class, reading the theory, understanding what other people have done and think, but then trying it out ourselves. So as far as really the nuts and bolts, we offer courses in the MSP. There are 24 credits, which is 6 classes. Sorry, that's 24 credits that you take in MSP courses during your 2 years here. If you're doing the 2-year program, we'll talk a little bit more about that, or during 3 years, or possibly even 15 months. There's also one elective that you will take. Generally in our program, our courses are 3 credits. That's true of most graduate courses in UWM. So you can think about how that might roll out in the way that you might organize your courses and your studies. And then one other class that students take is their field work. And that typically is done during a summer because then there aren't as many courses at the same time. But we always do work with students and their schedules and try to figure out what's going to be best. Field work can be done in the local community here in Milwaukee. It can be done really anywhere in the United States. And we also have a number of international partners. So we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So we'll move on to looking at these different opportunities that you have to complete the MSP. So the structure of our degree, and some of these we're excited, some of these are just launching in 2024-2025 academic year. We have an option where you can complete the entire 30 credit master's degree in 2 years. And that usually involves taking anywhere from 2 to 3 courses a semester. Most of the time is 2 courses, which is 6 credits, which at the graduate level is considered a full-time enrollment. And you can see on the upper left of the screen, the layout, the potential advised layout of this. You can also take our program as a part-time program, which is typically done over 3 years. And that reduces the course load to being either 1 or in some semesters 2 courses that are recommended to take in order to complete the program in 3 years. And that's on the right-hand side of your screen. We also, starting in January of 2025, we're accepting applications to our exciting new 15-month option. So if you're really looking to get this done and you have the time and want to invest in taking more classes at once, you can see that we have laid out a 15-month option for completing. I will mention that between these three options, the students will be asked when they apply which one they're thinking about doing. You start in the option that you choose. We are open to discussing changing between the different options as you unfold your graduate study. So it's just a matter of reaching out to us and talking more about what your life and your circumstances can support. We want you to be successful as you do your master's degree. I want to mention one other opportunity that we'll be launching in January of 2025, which is that you can complete our courses in smaller bits, smaller, perhaps more digestible sections of a master's degree, and it still all could count towards a master's degree if you finish all the requirements. But along the way, you can pick up 3 micro-credentials. Those are described on the bottom right of the slide. One is a systems thinking for social change, and that takes our courses. You're taking the same courses as the students in the full master's degree, but you're doing them in a slightly different or combination so that you can get this seal of micro-credential or this digital badge that we would provide you with when you're finished. It can be also conflict transformation and resilience, if that's an area of specialty you want to build. Or you could do one in community and organizational change. If you end up doing all 3 of them, then what you would have left to finish your full master's degree would be to complete your fieldwork and to take our capstone course.
All right, next I'll talk a little bit about fieldwork. As a past student of the MSP program, I have to say fieldwork is a really exciting component of the program for me. It's really where you get a chance to take all the skills that you've learned in class, take your own background, skills, and experience, and build a project that's unique to you. As Lynn had mentioned, fieldwork can be a semester-long project, and most students do complete it in the summer. It could be domestic in Wisconsin or the US, or international, and that could be in person or virtual. MSP does have some really wonderful existing partnerships, or there are structured internship programs if students aren't sure, what path they want to take for fieldwork. Other students have customized this a lot to their interests or their connections. So if there's a certain employer that they really wanted to build a connection with for a post MSP position, or maybe they want to do fieldwork with their current partner that they're working with, or they have a connection internationally. We've had students build their own fieldwork projects really around what the community partner is looking for or a skill that they need, and also what the student is hoping to build out. Some students build fieldwork based on, career change and getting into a certain sector and building that network. Others are looking to build a certain skill even more that they enjoyed learning in their first year of the program. So that could be related to facilitation, evaluation, and it's really expansive. So we give students a lot of flexibility with fieldwork to customize it the way that they want. And some examples of past fieldwork projects. We've had students work with one of our partners in Kenya, International Peace Initiatives. Students that have worked with incarceration of girls, working with a nature center at Journey House, Rwanda, a community health internship program, and that's a structured program through Milwaukee Area Health Education Center, a housing support program, community fishing program, and the list is really endless. MSP does have some funding opportunities for international fieldwork. And so as students are going through talking about their projects and developing those, we share information. And we also host sessions with various partners that are looking for students to work with for fieldwork projects. So we do help you build those connections if you don't have them, or help you talk through what it could look like if you already have that connection.
Okay, so you've heard a lot about our curriculum. How it's overall with 30 credits, you're talking about 10 courses that you're going to complete in order to do your master's degree. And we want to really help you to get to that space where you can think about, what would I do? How would I do the costs, and how would I finance this? So there are a number of tips that we have gathered to help you with this piece of the thinking through about the MSP. We will provide and have some links also available to you to look at costs. Really, we find that the UWM website is the best resource to go to a page that's called Costs and Financing and look at what it's going to cost to be at UWM as a graduate student. It does vary depending upon where your residency is. We are at an in-person program, and so Wisconsin residents have one level of tuition. Non-residents outside Wisconsin have another level, but there are some exchanges with some of the Midwest, upper Midwest states. So we encourage you to check that out. And then anyone beyond that or international would qualify in the category of out of state. UWM does post its tuition by semester, and you can go back and also look at previous semesters to give you some ideas of how we haven't really had a lot of tuition shifts over the last several years. I also want to mention that as someone is planning for a graduate school, just like an undergraduate, there are some fees. We have a lot of services on campus for our students, including supporting you to find housing if you're moving to the area. Our Norris Health Center, which offers all kinds of wellness opportunities for physical and mental health. It also covers supporting the library resources that you'll need as a graduate student, our exercise center, and all the student activities. So you do have what we call segregated fees for each semester as a student. Anastassia mentioned that fieldwork can really vary what it costs depending upon where you're going and what kind of housing or food expenses you might have during that. So we work with you in your first semester or two to plan that out and figure out the best way to finance. We have had students very successfully traveling and doing their field work in other parts of on the globe, and that is an important aspect of the work that we do in sustainable peace building. Obviously, your living expenses continue, and we want those of you who are not in the Milwaukee area to go and check out, again, UWM's website, where there's some really helpful information about what it costs to live here, so you can do a little bit of research on that. And if you're a student that is moving to the area within the US or traveling from international, you will have those relocation, those travel expenses. And for international students, you will need to be able to apply for and get your visa, which does involve some costs, and that varies by the country. As far as the paying for graduate school, we want you to know that we have some resources within our program. We generally review applications to the program. So for the following fall, we're looking at applications by the middle of December. So then that's the first time that we review a group of applications in late December, early January, and give those the first round of scholarship offers. And we also work with students who are applying to help them to find assistantships and fellowships that UWM has here on campus. So applying early can really be a benefit for you, but we want you to know that it's never too late to apply. And we do continue to offer our scholarship funding throughout the year until the resources that we have all been spoken for. So don't be shy about reaching out and asking if there's still space in the program and whether there's still scholarship funding available. In addition, we're in the School of Nursing, and there are nursing scholarships that you can apply for. You don't have to be a nurse to earn many of these to help you pay for your program. We also have at UWM a number of programs. Some of the examples are listed on the screen. And we work closely with students who have applied and been admitted into the program in order to help them find funding. So keep in mind that we have a two-step process at UWM. First, we admit, and then we discuss financing and funding because we don't make our decisions based upon your capacity to pay. Our admissions process is all about, and we'll talk about this more on another slide nearer to the end of the show. Our admissions process is about whether you meet the expectations of the graduate school and our program in order to participate.
Next, I'll talk a little bit about UW-Milwaukee. I am a two-time grad from UWM, and I have to say it's been an incredible experience each time for my undergraduate studies and graduate studies. Our faculty, especially in the MSP program, are incredible to work with. There are many research and community-based projects that they're doing. Our faculty are also practitioners, and so you're learning from people who have done, the type of skill or work that you're learning in the classroom. UWM is located close to Lake Michigan, which is really nice, a large freshwater lake that's nice for students to be able to unplug. We have a lot of events and opportunities on campus as well, and various campus partners. One example is the Lubar Entrepreneurship Center for students that are interested in, looking at starting their own businesses, nonprofits, just building more skills, networking. There's a lot of really great events on campus that way. We also support a student organization called the Global Student Alliance, and that's undergraduate and graduate students, focused on building awareness across campus of international events, conflict issues, things like that. We have a really great ratio of students to faculty at UWM and just relationships with faculty. And I can speak to that as an alumni of the program. Our faculty and MSP are really incredible. They want to know you by your first name. Often they prefer that you call them by their first name. Of course, they want you to learn all the content in the class, but they also care about what's going on in your life outside of that. And so it's built a really awesome sense of community in our program, both with students and our faculty members. And then lastly, UWM has many practice-based opportunities, so opportunities for fieldwork, volunteering, service across Milwaukee and abroad. And if we don't personally have a connection in MSP to an area that you're interested in working in, maybe internationally or even in Milwaukee, there is someone on campus that definitely will and will help you make those connections.
So very briefly, I also want to mention that Milwaukee is a great place to do peace building work and also to live. As Anastassia mentioned, we have a lot of culture and opportunities. We have a strong arts and theater district. We have, if you're a foodie, we have a lot of great food in the area. That's a whole variety of different cultural backgrounds. There's a lot of green spaces, bike paths. The university itself is very close to the lakefront, which is a really renowned for its space in terms of the beauty and the opportunity to get out and enjoy the city beach, as well as biking and sailing on the lake. So Lake Michigan is a huge freshwater lake. Some of our students who come from other parts of the world think that they're living next to something that looks like an ocean because it is so big. So I also want to mention that Milwaukee, historically, as an upper Midwest, very focused on manufacturing, as a city, has a lot of ongoing social economic challenges, is the process of remaking itself into a more vibrant 21st century financial, health, and technology, as well as water research center, is a process that is ongoing, but we have many remaining challenges to address to make sure that there is full equity and inclusion across our city. And so there are many, we are well known for having a lot of nonprofit and community organizations that are digging in and really doing good work, and they are often very eager to work with our students, to learn from our students, and for our students to learn from them. So we hope that you'll explore a little bit more about Milwaukee and come to see what an amazing place it is to live the way that we found it to be.
Next, we'll talk a little bit about the application process, and based on the different options that we have for our program for students that are interested. We do have some varying dates. So important dates for a fall start, and that's the 2-year or the 3-year cohort program. December 15th would be our priority review. As Lynn said, even if you apply after this date, we still encourage you to apply. There may be opportunities for scholarships and funding, but our first review, we prioritize students that completed their full application by December 15th. Our secondary review is after February 1st. After February, we do accept rolling admission until spaces in our program are filled, but February 1st is an important deadline for international students, for us to be able to process applications, admit students, have them find funding, and still have time to do a visa interview. For a spring start, our 15-month intensive program, November 1st is our priority deadline, and we accept rolling admission until classes start. So it's not too late if the November 1st passes. Still definitely put your application in. We'll have admission until those classes start in mid-January. And then our micro-credential opens January 2025, and that will be rolling admission throughout the entire year. Basic requirements for MSP students. We do need a bachelor's degree with a 2.75 GPA on a 4.0 scale and proficiency in English language. And those are graduate school requirements, the minimum requirements for us to consider your application. Next, the required application pieces. The first is an online application through our Panthera system, a reason statement, and if you visit our website or if you create the application online, you'll see a few questions that will prompt your reason statement. This is basically saying, why MSP? What brought you to the program? What are you hoping to gain or learn while you're in the program? That helps people reviewing your application kind of understand your fit and how you would fit with our program specifically. Next is a resume or a CV, unofficial transcripts. And that can be, something that you upload or that you request from your school. Proficiency in English language. You'll have to prove that as an international student. If your home country has English as a main language or primary language, or if you've completed your undergraduate degree fully in English, there's a way to waive that requirement. And then a $75 application processing fee that's through the graduate school. Other pieces that are optional, but we do highly recommend as it can make your application more competitive, are having 2 letters of recommendation, 1 or 2 letters of recommendation. It helps if one of those is an academic reference, and a writing sample. And the writing sample could be a recent academic paper. On our website, we do have a link to a essay that you could write, a short essay related to peace building. So if there's something that you really want to show in your application and maybe you don't have a writing sample that reflects that, you're welcome to write something new. We've also had people that are professionals that have done, a report or something like that, submit that as their writing sample as well. And as students are working through this process, if you have questions, I'm helping students throughout the application, like through their program time process in MSP. So any question you have, no matter how small, just reach out. I'm happy to help. And then learning more, we do have a few opportunities that we highly recommend for students that are interested in our program. The first, if you're anywhere near Milwaukee, or if you're able to be here, each fall, the graduate school has a grad school open house, and it's an in-person event, but they always offer 1 application fee waiver for an application to a program of your choosing. So if you register for that event and you attend in person, you can come meet MSP faculty, students, meet me. We're happy to talk with you about our experiences, and you'll also get the fee waiver to apply to our program. Also in the fall, there is a virtual information session that the graduate school hosts on this year. It's October 17th, and that's one event that we highly recommend international students to attend, but anyone can attend that. There is an account that you'll create. It's a pretty simple process, and then you'll join the MSP room to learn more. But there are also other resources with their own room, like the International Student Office, that can answer questions. And then just feel free to reach out to me anytime. We host these information sessions, but it may not be a spot for a specific question that you have. So feel free to reach out to me or to Dr. Woehrle anytime. We're here to help you throughout the application process. We're very excited that you're interested in the MSP. As an alumni myself, I can definitely say it's a transformational process, both for, your inner self, your family, the people around you, and the type of work that you will do next. And so we're very excited about your interest. And feel free to reach out anytime to us.
We're so pleased that you have viewed this video, and we hope that you consider exploring our webpage and reach out to us. Send us an email and ask us what else you need to know to think about applying to our program. Thank you for being here today.